video, we're going to think about how we use our underlying motor skills to form our more complicated motor skills. What I mean by that is how we use our body to be able to perform our day-to-day tasks. Firstly, we need to think about our sensory integration. We need to understand our sense of movement, our sense of touch, and where our body is in space. From that, we're then able to build on our body skills. The first thing we're going to think about is our postural control. Our postural control forms the foundation for all of our other skills. I think of it as having the good foundations to a house. You could have a very good house, a very pretty house, but if it didn't have very good foundations, it wouldn't be a very functional house. And our body's the same. We need good core strength, good shoulder strength, and good postural control to be able to form a stable base for all of our other motor skills to work from. Our postural control helps us to stay sitting in a comfortable position. It enables us to use our hands for our fine motor skills, and it enables us to balance and move around. The next thing we're going to think about is what we call praxis. This is really a fancy word for motor planning out our movements. To do this, we need to have an idea for what we want to do for a task. This is particularly important when we're learning a new skill. We have to think about what we want to do, plan our movement, and then execute the movement or do the movement. Planning is a complicated skill. Often children with planning difficulties can look like they're lazy or choosing not to start a task, when in actual fact they're struggling to work out how to do it. This is often seen at school with children that can be quite chaotic, that can find it difficult to get started on their writing activity, that might procrastinate by going to fetch lots of tools without actually beginning the task. It's also commonly seen in children that struggle to do activities like tidying their bedroom, knowing where to put things, and knowing how to organise themselves. Children with difficulties with praxis or motor planning are often quite chaotic and struggle with organisation. You might notice that your child forgets to bring their jumper home at the end of the day or forgets to take things out of their school bag. The final part of our foundation is our perceptual skills. This includes our body awareness, or knowing where our body is in space. It's that ability to be able to close our eyes and touch our nose, for example, to actually know where our body parts are. It's also our ability to understand where other people or objects are in relation to us. It's the ability to walk through a door without colliding with the door frame, or to step over things that are on the floor. Often children with body awareness difficulties can find it difficult to do activities such as getting dressed, wiping their bottom, getting in and out of the car, or negotiating their way around a classroom without falling over. Another aspect of our perceptual function is understanding size and shape and space. This is particularly interesting for our handwriting skills. We need to understand spacing to be able to space our words and letters out. We also need to understand space in terms of all of our motor skills, such as our fine motor skills.
Once our good foundations are in place, children can then develop their more fundamental movement skills. So this is thinking about our gross motor skills, things we do with our whole body. So balancing, jumping, hopping, being able to throw and catch and aim at a target. We need to have effective postural control in place to be able to support us to complete these tasks. This is also important for our fine motor skills. So in order to be able to move things around in our hands and manipulate them, to be able to coordinate our eye with our hand, and to be able to use both hands together, all those foundations need to be in place. It's important too, with our perceptual skills, that we can bring together our visual skills so that we can use them to support what we do with our body and how we interpret information coming from sounds and how that can coordinate with what we need to do with our body. So, for example, if we're going to get dressed and put on some trousers, it's really important that we can balance on one leg. So that means we need to have good postural control, we need to have strong muscles around our core. We need to be able to shift our weight onto the other leg So both sides of our body need to be able to work together. We need to be able to use our hands and coordinate that with what we can see so that we can orientate our foot into the leg of our trousers. Without having those good foundations, a simple task like putting on trousers can become incredibly difficult. And it might be that we need to go right back to the bottom of our triangle and to think about working on our postural control to develop the strength in those muscles to be able to do that task. Equally, being able to do our handwriting means that we need to have good fine motor skills. We need to be able to grip the pencil, have good shoulder stability to maintain that position, and we need to have effective perceptual skills to understand where to start on the page and how to form letters, how to copy from the board, and how to put all those skills together to effectively complete a handwriting task. It's really important to support children to do their functional movement skills. They need to have all their fundamental and foundations in place and well practiced so that they can complete the tasks they need to do every day.
Earlier on in one of our previous videos, we talked about play. You can now see the importance of using play to develop our skills. For example, running around, climbing, going to the park will help us to develop our core strength, our shoulder strength and our postural control. Playing with a box of Lego bricks helps us to learn about developing ideas for praxis, motor planning. We learn about our planning and idea skills from having lots of different toys and activities where we have to think of ideas of what we want to do with them. This also supports our perceptual skills. So by climbing, running, jumping, riding our bikes, or playing with our friends, we learn about size and space around us, and this helps us to develop our perceptual skills. Hopefully, looking at this pyramid, you can see the importance of incorporating lots of different play-based activities into your child's day.